Alright, so I wanted to go into a little more detail with the first version of my diamond making machine that I want to try to figure out a way to automatically produce diamonds without using equivalent exchange, because there's a million videos on that. It's not really that tricky. It's sort of designed to do that. So what I did instead is built sort of a bio diamond farm. So it's a farm that essentially converts sugar into diamonds, but there's also some wheat and stuff. But anyway, I'll go into it. But the way it works is using industrial craft, and by the way, that's my jetpack. So the armor I'm wearing, jetpack, and the nano suit armor. So if it looks like I'm doing any weird flying around or stuff, it's all part of the mod, but it's not, you know, any flying mod or anything. Anyway, so ultimately, I use a mass fabricator, and I'll put that into an automatic crafting table and get diamonds. And currently, it's the first version of this. It takes like an hour to generate a diamond if you have saved up some fuel here, which I have. So I'm gonna turn it on and talk about it, and we'll come back and see if it's close, but it probably won't be. So we'll turn on the machine, and also turn on these pumps over here. Start supplying these bio generators. I don't know how much energy I had saved up from. Like nothing. So the whole thing starts with sand, really. It's the only thing that I don't have, but that's because over here, in order to use these peat bogs, which are what powers all the farms, at least at first, I need sand. The dirt, when peat is placed, dirt is fed back. So you can see right here, the peat's going in, and then dirt comes out. What I do is, since you get twice as much dirt as peat, and I don't want to overflow the whole thing with dirt, is I filter the dirt from this one back out into this chest, and the dirt from this one gets filtered down into these machines. You can hear some grinding going on down there, and that is because I used a little bit from the red power mod to make an infinite supply of sand. So what I have here is an automatic cobblestone generator. That's really simple. And a chicken, which is essential. And this timer, which means every 15 seconds there's a pulse, and this block breaker from the red power mod will grab a cobblestone block, feed it out into this chest, and then it's pumped out into my rotary macerator. And then this is called the distribution pipe. So every 5 sand go that way, and then 1 sand comes over this way. I'll show you what that's for, but there's a pulse, another one. And I have to sort of tweak that from time to time to get the ratios right. Not everything is down pat. But I use sand along with ash, piping in here, to make fertilizer. Now again, the fertilizer is redistributed here through a distribution pipe. Most of it goes over to the fermenters, back where we started. But some of it comes in here. I have this in 2 separate chests because before the dirt overflowed, that was bad. But it gets made into humus, which is then used in my rubber tree farm, which is not really part of the whole diamond farm thing, but you need a lot of rubber to make all these machines and stuff, and so I'll show you it. So this up here is sort of a self-sustaining farm. All it needs is humus to be fed in here, which obviously has a ton right now, and then it feeds some saplings, again through a distributor pipe, some saplings back into the actual farm. I have an extra. and some over into this fermenter. So also some of the fertilizer gets fed over here. And this fermenter then runs these two engines, and these two engines run the whole thing. So once you get it started, you need a peat engine to sort of start it. Once it gets started, it runs itself, which is cool. And then you end up with, I cleaned this out yesterday, and obviously it's starting to fill back up again. End up with lots of rubber, lots of wood. It's all good. This is a water tank for, it acts like a buffer, because a lot of these machines use water in bursts. So you have to, drain them pretty quick. And then charge back up when they're not using it. So this over here is a two-part, one set of gas engines and electrical engines. The gas engines, so it works at night. The electrical engines work while the bat boxes are full, or when the solar array is on. And those power the bogs, because if the bogs don't run, they can't fill all these engines. But when the bogs are running, it's loud again, apologies, all these engines fire up, and they serve two purposes. One is they power these farms. So if you look at my power grid, the way I've laid it out, these power pipes, the ones that, if they come up on the left-hand side here, they are from the dedicated bit over there. So the two bogs, you can see, have their power coming in on the left. And then if it comes in on the right-hand side, it is from the dedicated, or is from the giant peat bog engines. So all these farms are doing that. Now, in order to make a bog, or in order to make peat, you also need mulch. So the way we get mulch is this farm here, which I think maybe both these farms, they feed into a distributor pipe, and they split half of their wheat back into this moistener, which has to be in the dark, and it kind of doesn't matter that it's down here because it's not dark enough to work in the day. But if you have cobblestone or seeds or something here, it will decay this wheat. You can see it turns into mulch and then it's pumped away. And eventually this cobblestone will turn into mossy cobblestone. So I have some of that. And oddly enough, this whole farm that runs on, or that eventually I can make diamonds from, runs on that automatic sand making machine. But if it stalls out, it's often because I forget to refill the cobblestone in that thing. So I think what I'm going to do is either set up a way to distribute the cobblestone to it, or I can feed seeds back into it too, and it can make the type of soil that you need for mushroom farms. I haven't started to make a mushroom farm yet. I might make one, make part of it. So I think you can feed those too. But anyway, then the big, like the fuel, so this one came up on the left, even though it's dedicated. I mean, even though it's from the bog, because it's just more convenient that way. But the, most of the fermented material, the biofuel, comes from these sugarcane plants, and this is an automatic harvester. I'm going to put another one in over here for this next plot. I'll go right here. But right now there's no point because I don't have enough fermenters to keep up anyway, and it kind of gets like jammed up from too much stuff in the pipes on the server, and it gets unhappy. So anyway, the byproduct of all those bog engines down here is ash, and the ash is used to make this everything. So tons of redstone engines piping all this out into iron pipes, so that it all comes out down into here. So this whole machine, I've got these water extractors that make enough power just to run the macerator indefinitely, because they run off of a pump that runs off redstone engines. So the way the rotary macerator works too, once it's up to speed, it uses less power. So it sort of is self-regulating. If it starts to run out of power, it will macerate less quickly, which means it will build up a backstock, which means the RPMs will go back up, and it'll use less power. So this one just sort of sits right around 500 RPM, which is fine. It's plenty fast enough to process the one cobblestone every 15 seconds without overflowing. It's actually just about right, which is cool. So all these pipes lead all the way under here. You can see this would be the fertilizer pipe, and all the sugarcane goes up to here, and then I pump it back out this way into this feeder pipe. Eventually I'm going to move everything over to here. This is my new construction. I'm going to try to put it together in a more orderly fashion and make it more scalable, because right now it's kind of a cluster over here. As you can see, all of this stuff is sort of just fed into a loop into these fermenters, which have fertilizer in the bottom, sugarcane on the top, or wheat, because there's also wheat coming in from the farms as well. So sometimes you'll see wheat in there too, because that ferments the same. All this gets pumped out into these tanks, pumped out of the tanks, these generators. The seeds get fed into this recycler to sometimes make scrap, which increases the efficiency. And then, so we've made one while we were gone. So 1/9 of a diamond while we've been doing this explanation. But other than that, then it's just a basic industrial craft, you know, use a mass fabricator and make UU matter and then turn that into diamonds. So that's how it works. I put it all together to make sure that it does work. I think my next list of improvements, and obviously I have a ton of space down here to build machine works, because this was just a gigantic quarry, like a 64 by 64. So it's kind of dangerous down there if you don't have a jetpack. But I've plenty of room to sort of manipulate my my logistics. And I think my next plan is to switch from relying on fertilizer as fuel, because that can run out actually. Especially when we add in the second sugarcane farm and I want to add some more fermenters, into using manure, which is made from dirt and wheat. So that should be I should be able to get that more plentifully, because currently all I'm using the dirt for is the tree farm, and that, as you saw, was overflowing. So I want to switch that over, and then I want to switch, basically, I made like a silo. It looks like a silo from the outside. I need to make it a lot taller though, because it's going to end up being shorter than the barn, and that doesn't make any sense. But it's also built in a way that you can easily just stack more stuff on top, keep making it taller and taller. But basically, again, under here there's a distribution pipe, so that everything that comes in through, I'll put a pipe down here. Everything that comes in here, it's hard to see because I packed it in, but it goes up to that distribution pipe and gets distributed evenly on the 4 things, and then if you turn on the pumps, everything comes out into this iron pipe and shot out the output with a gold pipe, excuse me. So I'll be able to hook that from here, either through a tunnel in the back or just underneath, and cover it up, possibly, or just leave it above ground so you can sort of observe what's working. But I'll be able to feed that over into, this is going to be my tank room, where when I want to turn things on, everything goes on. I'm going to feed, you know, fermented product from here into this tank room. And then, so I'm going to have a tank room here for the biofuel, and then I want to make a third step that converts that into like biodiesel, which you get 1, you know, bucket of that for every 4 buckets of the biodiesel, but it's 8 times more efficient. So you're really doubling how much energy you get. And obviously you have to feed a little bit of it back to run the machine, so it's not a perfectly 2-to-1, but it's certainly quite a bit of an improvement. So, and it'll be cool, it'll be another step, but I think I'm going to do that instead of, this is going to look like a barn, hopefully, but I think I'm going to do the distilling in like a weird looking little shed. I'll probably make out of like rubber wood, not even finished wood. We at least put the machines in there, and then I may have the other side of the tank room, you know, maybe like over here, still be the other fuel. And then probably move all these machines like down into the basement or something, and then just have the diamonds pop out on top. So that's my plan to make this whole place look a lot neater. Right now it's a mess because I didn't make a warehouse when I ran the quarry, so there's a whole bunch of just cobble and stuff. Good stuff's over here, obsidian and stuff. And I also had a couple explosions, which is why it looks a little busted up. And then this is just patched together, obviously, to make it work. But I think it's pretty interesting, and should be a cool way to make diamonds, you know, in a much slower, much grander fashion than using the coin exchange. But, you know, no point in doing things just because they're easy. I see another one there. Eventually, when it gets to 9, get another diamond will pop out of there. That'll be awesome. So, anyway, I will probably do another video once I get all that stuff in place.